Ho, ho, ho. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jo'Van.
And I'm Brandice.
And you're watching
Closing the Gap.
We're back for our Christmas time episodes.
Yes. Listen, I've been celebrating since November 1st, but now it's socially accepted to start celebrating for Christmas.
Have you started listening? Well, if you've already started celebrating, you've already started listening to Christmas
music.
Yes. Real quick before we get into this subject, because it's not the lightest subject, but it's still a good one to talk about. Top 3 Christmas songs. Go. You got 15 seconds.
Listen, it's so hard. I can't. You go first, and I'll. No. I can't. You can't put me on the spot like that.
Right,
I'm horrible at favorites.
So what we're not gonna do is not gonna disrespect Nat King Cole, because that song, the Christmas song. That's what it's called. I love that song.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
Look, I am not biased towards Christmas music, but that one for me, it hits. Charlie Brown Christmas. It's very jazzy. Christmas time is here. And then of course. This Christmas, whether it be Donny Hathaway or Chris Brown.
Donny Hathaway, definitely.
They're both really good. You know, Donny Hathaway, it has its own vibe that I really love, but Chris Brown, you know, he killed it too. So those are my 3.
So I feel like the reason I like Hesitate, because I feel like every Christmas it changes. Okay. Like it depends on the vibe for the Christmas. So this year, first of all, Donny Hathaway's This Christmas will always be forever.
And this Christmas
will always forever be top. I love me some Luther's Christmas Toes. Mistletoe Jam. And then number 3. You know what? I love Santa Baby.
Okay.
I know it's a little controversial, but I do like that song. So those are my top 3 for right now. It always changes, so for right now, I think those are my top 3 for right now.
Okay.
But you know what's a classic? Like one of those that's like a unspoken classic?
What?
What do the lonely do at Christmas?
Oh! I'm crying thinking about it.
Listen, growing up, me and my son, I'm always like joked about that song because it's like horrible if you're lonely during the holidays. If you listen to that song, you're just kind of like, what do we do? But it's such a good. As you get older, it's such a good song.
And it's actually a really sad song. Like
it really is.
There's no like positive conclusion. It's all just like it talks about all the things that are happening, and you're just alone.
And oddly enough, that's what we're talking about today.
Yep.
What do the lonely do at Christmas time?
Or just
the holidays in general. Because you have like all the holidays around the same time. You have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. It's just like a bunch of other holidays around that time too, that everybody, you see all these videos with movies where they're coupled up or they're with their family, friends, whatever. But if you're in a new city, you don't have your family around you, you're alone, or if you're not in a relationship or you're single and you're alone, you kind of can get lonely and feeling kind of sad and kind of a little depressed. People have seasonal depression. That's a real thing. So what do you think, Jo'Van? What can people do during the holidays to make them not feel as alone?
Well, excuse me. Well, I don't think people are always alone for like bad reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So before I really get into it, I just want to frame like just because you're alone doesn't mean like you have to be sad. Like some people, like during COVID, they couldn't travel. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, there's something going on with a family or anything like that. They just couldn't be there. Some people, they have families that are like, if their parents got divorced or something, their mom's here, their dad's here, you know what I'm saying? And I actually was watching YouTube, and there was this one girl, she just stays in where she's at. She doesn't even visit. She loves her family, but she's like, that's just a lot. You know what I'm saying? But she was talking about like, hey, I know how to enjoy myself like when I'm alone. Yeah. And one of the ways she does it is she goes out and like does stuff for the community.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good idea.
Like donates things or gives service. And who knows, like if you're alone and you're like looking for people to like, cheer yourself up, that's a great way to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because not only everyone's in a good spirit of giving, you're going to be around some, pretty good people. You know what I'm saying? So that's one way.
Definitely giving back. is definitely a good way to like lift up your spirits, because when you're doing good for somebody else, it's uplifting. It's and you see the smile on their face when you do that good deed for them. It is definitely uplifting. And if for whatever reason you're alone, whether you just can't make it home or whatever the case may be, COVID, sickness, or whatever, I always say just find a support system or a group wherever you are. There's a lot of use Facebook for good, and you can find so many different groups you can find, and just find a support group. Like, people aren't able to go home, you can find your own community there and wherever you are, or even if you're single and you're alone, because that is, I don't want to downplay that, because some people, you go to the holiday parties, it's like, oh, it's a +1, but you're alone. But make the best out of it. Like, just find a community around you so you won't feel as alone.
Right, and also don't get into them and try not to. I know it's not always.
Oh
easy.
yeah,
I'm not trying to
you see all the Lifetime movies.
Yeah, Lifetime. I love Lifetime.
Hallmark, all of them.
No, okay. So like, what I'm trying to say is, just because you may be alone for the holiday or the entire holiday season, that doesn't mean necessarily that you need to be sad. Like, it sets your mind on like actually loving on yourself during this time. Like, hey, just because it's Christmas and you're alone doesn't mean you can't get yourself a nice gift. That doesn't mean you can't do things for you, because you matter. That's a good time to do that. You know what I'm saying? So don't get into the mentality of like, I'm alone, so that means, it's gonna suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, set realistic expectations. Like, if you know you're gonna be alone, then plan like your holidays around that, so you don't get there, you're like, man, I'm alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know you can't always see it coming. Sometimes you might I know, like, with like weather, especially around like Christmas, like that can be kind of crazy, and your flight can get delayed and all that stuff. So there's all these different factors. But if you can plan for being alone, then set your expectations so you're not like disappointed when those holidays do come around. So.
Yeah, and there's also technology. There's FaceTime, Zoom. So if you're not able to make it home to your loved ones, I mean, I know it doesn't beat being together face to face, but you can still make the best out of it. You can play games. There's so many things you can do, and I think COVID definitely taught us that you can make the best of that situation, and just still it's like you're there. So if you can't make it home, just FaceTime, Zoom, make sure they you, like you Jo'Van said, plan it out though, so it won't be like an afterthought where you feel like you just tossed around. Make it so you have games or whatever, set time and things of that nature.
And think about it like this. Think about what you're missing out on, but in a good way. Think about it like this. You don't have to talk to that uncle that continuously throws politics at you the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Or, eat that family member's potato salad that's trash, but you got to smile and take it. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about things in that way. I know that's kind of like a more of a silly way, but holidays are, it's not always great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Just find the positive out of it, and just like you said, and then for the singles, if you're going to the holiday party or some function, and you take a good friend, so that way you don't feel like that third wheel out or whatever. If you feel like, oh man, I'm so alone, I don't have someone to go to all these, find a good friend to do all those things that you would want to do in a relationship, because guess what, it can be just as great. I mean, or avoid it altogether if it's gonna cause that much pain and anger to you. Make sure you just either skip it or find a good friend to do it with you, so that way you can still enjoy the holidays and not be as sad and lonely.
Exactly. I guess to sum that up is, don't be a Grinch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
it's still the holidays. You can make the best of it. You just have to plan and just seek it out. I mean, and I know this is easy said than done, because listen, it's you see everybody around you, like with their family, the loved ones, or whatever. So I know it's so easy said than done, but you just gotta make that plan and stick to it, and just like know that you are not alone.
Facts.
So I think you got a scripture for that.
Yes.
So I have a scripture while we get to Jo'Van.
See, I only got an iPhone 11. You got the 13, so mine don't load like yours.
So, I mean, in Joshua 1:9, God says, "Be strong, be brave, be fearless. You are never alone. He is always with you. He will never forsake you." So, no matter during this time when you feel alone, God is with you. He will never forsake you. So if you feel alone, just cry out to God, like, Lord, comfort me, make me feel your presence, because he's there. Just I need you to feel your presence with me right now during this difficult time. Just talk to him. This is the best thing you can do. I mean, he's right there with you. So
right. And I had a similar verse. Mine was more focused on, if you are going through like family issues where you're just like, I'm not even trying to, deal with that. Psalms 27 verse 10 says, though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. So no matter like what's going on with the people around you,
yes,
as believers, we have to remember that, people change or people go through things and they act different, but God's always going to be there. He's going to be a rock at all times. And I learned that, from being alone during the pandemic, I spent way more time with God. That's where I really developed my time. Actually, it was a blessing in a way for me.
Yeah.
And I learned like, man, God really can be enough. But if you really consistently give him that time, you'll be like, if you've never experienced it, you will be surprised on like how like fulfilling that relationship really is. So, and while you're alone, make more time for God. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, do it. You will reap the reward if you're consistent at it.
Yes. Find a church home. Find a small group. There's people out there. You just got to search for your community when you aren't able to go to yours. So you are never alone. You have us.
Hey, thank y'all for watching. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I mean, this is not the last one for Christmas. We have several more, but this is the season. 'Tis the season.
Yes.
Come on.
All right. Let us know in the comments. What do you do when you're alone for Christmas? Have you ever been alone for Christmas? And when you were alone, how did you get through it?
Yes.
Make sure you like and subscribe, share, comment, and
see you next week. Merry Christmas.